Have you ever tried to play that famous slash lick, but no matter what you try, it just never sounds right? Well, you're not alone, because I used to get stuck in the exact same spot and it drove me nuts. And honestly, I started thinking that I'd never be good enough to pull this off. But the thing is, once I fixed 3 mistakes, it all fell into place and I can finally use it while I'm improvising a solo. So in this video, I'm going to break down the 3 mistakes and show you exactly how you can nail this lick the slash way, even if you've been struggling for years. So let me show you the first mistake, which is where most people struggle. And to help demonstrate, Steven sent me a video of him playing it so I can give him some tips. And I want to share this because what he's doing is super common and I think a lot of guitarists will relate to this. The difficulty with this lick is that it's so fast, it's really hard to tell what's happening. And Steven is actually playing a simplified version of it, which is a great place to start, and it's what most people do. And it's actually the lick that Slash plays in Sweet Child of Mine solo. But the Slither and Soma City Ward lick actually have a variation of it, and it's a little more complex. In the Sweet Child of Mine lick, and the way Steven's playing it, we've got this repetitive phrase that you play 2 variations of. The phrase is this. But then, the second time round, it changes that last bend to this. So it goes... It's a cool lick, but there's slightly more going on in the other versions of it. So we can actually break it down into 2 separate licks. I'm going to play this in B. I'm tuned half a step down as well. So here's the first bit. So broken down, it's this. We're picking 3 notes. It's those top 3 strings. And it's all downstroked. Pay attention to the fingers that I'm using as well. So I'm bending up with the middle finger, and then for those other 2 notes, I'm just barring those 2 strings with my first finger. And then I'm doing a hammer on and pull off on the B string with my little finger. Now, it's important not to try and run before you can walk at this stage. We'll talk about building speed in a little bit, but that's the first lick you want to get down. You can use that as a standalone lick, like Slash does, but let's add the second part to it now. So the next lick, pick the first note and the first note only, that E string, and then we're going to do a hammer-on thing again. So the next lick is this. The rest of it relies on hammer-ons and pull-offs. So you've got to have some finger strength for this. The fingers that I'm using this time, first finger, but then I'm alternating between my pinky finger and my third finger. So when I do the hammer-on, I'm using the pinky finger. When I do the bend, I'm using my third finger. And if you watch Slash, that's exactly what he does. And then we put them together. Now let me show you the next mistake people make, which ruins your speed, your bending, and leads to strain in the hands. Now, I used to line my hands up properly so that my fingers were parallel to the frets, just like all the books said, but my bends were crap and I could never reach the right notes. And if you look at Steven's hand, he's not doing that, but his thumb is wrapped around the neck and he's gripping it too tight. You need to be quite loose for this. If you look at Slash's hand positioning and fingering, his thumb is pointing upwards instead of forwards, and his fingers are angled much more. So if your bends sound like that, this could be why. And the third mistake ruins people's fluidity, so I'm going to show you how to build speed from the ground up so you can play this at any tempo and keep all the notes cutting through. Have you ever learned a lick or a phrase and then you try and play it at different tempos and it just falls apart? Well, that's probably because you've learnt it wrong and your fingers are just moving as fast as they can and doing what they can instead of doing what they should be. And this happens when you run before you can walk. So I recommend doing what I'm about to show you. It's not the sexiest tip, but after just a few days, you're going to hear your playing tightening up so much. So the best way to do it is this. You want to isolate a section and put a metronome on and a timer. Now, I'm using the Speed Trainer because it's got both built in, and you get this free with the How to Play Like Slash course. And it's a perfect chance to practice your hammer-ons and pull-offs and your finger strength as well. The slower you go, the harder it is, but you're going to build strength and speed much quicker this way. Play it at that tempo for about a minute and then gradually bump up the tempo. Now the Speed Trainer increases the tempo after each round automatically, so you can just focus on practicing instead of messing about with a metronome and a timer. Then you just stick those sections together and practice the whole thing. Make sure you put the pick in the right places and use the correct fingering, because when people slow things down, there's a tendency to change things, and this is what's happening when we play too fast too soon. Now the thing is, you can play licks all day long, but if you don't know how to make them sound musical, you'll end up sounding like a pub guitarist and not Slash. So I highly recommend watching this video next, because I show you how to construct a solo like Slash and not just copy the notes.